Good evening and welcome to the Planning Board for March 16th, 2015. Tonight we have a continuation of a public hearing. It is a site plan review at 21 Nottingham Street. The Lowell Planning Board will hear a public hearing to hear all interested persons relative to an application by Hunt Real Estate Services for site plan approval for a project located at the above listed address. The applicant proposes the construction of a new approximate 9,200 square foot family dollar with 28 space parking lots and 2 stormwater infiltration areas. The applicant is seeking site plan review under section 11.4 of the City of Lowell zoning ordinance. The parcel is approximately 59,000 square feet of land and is located in the light industrial zoning district. May we hear from the applicant, please?
Yes, my name is Paul Beck. I'm with Hunt Real Estate Services. And with me is Phil Henry, Civil Design Group. He's the civil engineer for the project. Tonight, what we were hoping to do was go finish up the building design, the landscaping changes that were made as a result of the consultation we had with you the last time, and then go into the meat of the meeting. We hoped was going to be the traffic, which is the question about the truck, the intersection, and all that. Well, the city evidently has hired a new traffic engineer. I don't know how much time they've had to review everything, but we've got a letter at 10 minutes of 5 tonight. It is not possible to adequately respond to it in that short time. So I asked our traffic engineer to postpone his meeting tonight. What we would like to do at your direction or acquiescence is to meet with the staff between now and the next meeting, so we can come ahead of time to a set of recommendations that we either can or cannot live with, the city can or cannot live with, and we decide there, rather than negotiate back and forth here. I'm not a traffic expert. I don't see your traffic engineer here either, and I think it would be a better use of everybody's time if we can come in and say, this is what we can agree to or not, or here's the 1 or 2 point of dispute, so you can make that decision. So that's what we'd like to do. We're going to set up a meeting at our earliest possible time and go through it with the city. Okay. The other 2 issues were landscaping. I believe we've come to an agreement with the city staff as to how the site should look in terms of landscaping, adding more shrubbery. I think we deducted a tree or 2, but it's a plan that Phil is more than happy to go over. And the last thing was the final tweaks on the building design. When Doug Murray, our construction/architect guy, was here, I think he said you asked to improve the facade on a couple of the sides that we hadn't addressed adequately. We've done that, and as part of the give and take, we've made some tweaks to the 2 main facades too. A little bit of reduction there in terms of the lace or the chintz in getting the other sides addressed. So we can go through that with you. We can go through the landscaping, or at your discretion, we can postpone everything. I mean, this application is going to be, the meat of it, no question, is the traffic. Do you want to do it all? The other 2 things will take 10, 15 minutes. We can get that out of the way, or we can get your additional feedback if we're not on the right page. So it's up to you.
I have no problem either way. I don't know what the board members, if you want to go through the traffic and the landscaping, I mean, not the traffic, excuse me, the landscaping and the architectural.
Why don't we do that?
At least we can accomplish something, right?
Huh?
At least we can get something going.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure, why don't we do that?
And believe me, it's not frustration speaking, it's just we need to keep this process moving. I've got a landowner that we've been tied up for well over a year. He's been more than patient with us.
Sure.
If I don't start construction sometime in late spring, I lose another year with my client because they don't accept the building between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yeah. Okay.
So,
I mean, your decision is your decision.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm certainly not asking you to make any shortcuts. Just whatever we can do to expedite the process will be well received.
All right. I mean, if you want to go forward without, so Attorney Flood's not coming, right?
Correct.
No? Okay.
And the last thing is, we obviously will ask for a continuance.
Sure.
And any waivers, extensions that we need,
Okay.
I'm qualified to sign.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
Do the building?
Sure. Let's do the building.
Phil, you might be able to help me. Shall I pass these out? These are this is the old ones?
That's the new one.
New one. May I approach?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Thanks. You can leave some one here, that's fine. I'll look at it with Jerry, that's fine, 'cause after a while. Okay, you got plenty? All right. Yep. Like we'll do something, right?
Excuse me, did you have copies of the one you handed out at the last meeting? I would find that helpful to have one. And forgot mine.
No, almost said, I have one from last time, thanks. Yeah.
This is what they had last time.
All right, the one change that, or modification that was requested or we discussed was the north elevation, which is here. We add an architectural feature here. The windows with the shutters are still there, so that gives you a little bit more of an effect on the back. On the front elevation, previously we had a window on each side, and then shutters flanking each one of those windows. What we've done to try to get the effect of the shutters and the windows, and also trying to be a little bit cost efficient, we've reduced that to one opening, but the shutter is on flanking each one. So it's geometrically acceptable, and I think it gives you the look you want. And, go ahead, Phil.
And then the north elevation, which is facing the adjacent industrial building, we added the three windows to the north as well.
And then the last major comment that I remember is trying to get some relief to this building. And it's proven difficult, but what we've done is obviously we've got the brick courses here, which gives you the shadow and the effect. And then also, the architect has added some accent stripes, and I don't know if you can see them here, white coming down, which gives you the effect of depth on each one.
I see.
And that's pretty much the extent of my architectural knowledge. And again, you've got the white accent here with the windows, so you get some relief. It's not the warehouse look. So with that, any off-the-cuff comments you have right now, I'd be happy to take back to our architects. If you just want to mull it over, give us an idea that we're on the right track, I'm sure we can look at some final modifications or tweaks if something jumps out at you.
Can I just, Mr. Chairman?
Sure. Mr. Bichette?
If I could just, we did get comments from Joe, matter of fact, DPD. Joe, would you mind just elaborating a little bit on the window treatment that you were suggesting here? Just to have kind of a give and take with the applicant, too, is what your thoughts are on it.
Sure. So on the latest comments regarding the elevations, we had actually spoken to,
Mr. Frechette needs to turn on his mic.
I'm sorry.
The green light's on.
We weren't hearing it.
Oh,
That's Are you hearing it now?
he's just saying Mr. Bichette's microphone wasn't amplifying,
Sorry, let me
but,
go back in the room.
okay, thank you.
So as I was saying, we had actually spoken to Steve Stoll, our historic board administrator, to try to get some tips on some things that could soften the look of the building and try to help it fit into the residential neighborhood over there. So some of the things he suggested were in this memo here. Removing the shutters off the windows instead of giving something, to the windows that would add a little more character, a little more depth to them, and that's why you have something that has a larger kind of casing, maybe a header or footer along the window, kind of give it a more residential feel as it's facing that side. And then along the east elevation, something that he suggested that could carry through with that depth you might be looking for would be to have recessed brick, so it wouldn't be any additional windows, but it would keep the same rhythm as if there were windows there.
Now, has the applicant seen this memo of?
It was sent out,
March 12th, right?
Yeah,
yes.
I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that, and
You just go to the microphone to pick up the...
with your proposal here, be honest with you, it's hard to determine if you're incorporating kind of the, again, I think it's, what I gather from this, the casings on the window, a little bit more substantial to create that sense.
And I think that's what Doug Murray tried to do with here. In terms of the east elevation, I mean, there's really not a whole lot you can do. You've got the doors there, and then this is the siding in the back. Now, if it pleases you or it would help, I will go back to Doug, who is our design expert, our architect. Unfortunately, we had a conflict. He just couldn't be here tonight.
Sure.
And have him respond to the letter. And I'm sure some of the points he's going to say, yeah, we've done it, or we've done it this way, not exactly that way, or no, we didn't do it, and here's the reason why.
Right.
Whether it's cost, a vision of how the thing looks, or whatever. But yeah, I can get you that.
Yeah, I'd like to have some, I mean, ultimately, it'll be the decision of the board here, how we want to have that, but certainly some rationale as to, taking into account these suggestions, were they incorporated in any way, or could you relook at that? I'm a little confused, Joe, I mean, and I get the reasoning for the shutters in the front, not the front, but on the south elevation, but is that what we were looking for?
Staff wasn't necessarily looking for shutters along that elevation. We were looking for a more in-depth casing around the window.
Oh.
So that's what staff was looking for along that elevation.
Right, and that's what if, again, you could go and take a look at that. I think of a good example is with the CVS on Bridge Street. What we did with those windows, and they were false windows, but they really created some depth so that you really had some shadow lines.
Well, I actually was the developer on that
Okay,
project
all
with
right.
Doug
So
Murray.
you certainly can understand that.
Right.
And then there's a plaza just before the Market Basket that's kind of in sideways there that we did the same thing.
Right.
And it really was effective and added a lot more to
Well, we are balancing, though, aesthetics
Yep.
and economics at a much higher degree than the
Right.
CVS. I mean, one of the nice things about developing or working with CVS is they could solve a lot of problems with money.
Right,
Just
right.
based on the volume and the stores they do, that a Family Dollar doesn't. And that's as honest as I can be.
Yeah, no, and then, as honest as I can be, is you're building this right across the street from a residential neighborhood. Once it goes up, when we drive by and the neighbors look out the window and city officials even drive by, we want to see development, but at the end of the day, we have to live with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, I think that's the balancing act that we're trying to strive for. Obviously, if you don't like it, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
If we can't afford it, it's not going anywhere.
Right,
So-
right, and we're trying to balance that
Yeah,
out. No question
right, I
about
will take those comments back to Doug.
it. Okay, all right, good, thank you.
Yeah, because I know we haven't finished the public hearing yet. Do you want to do it now or after? Or do you want to get to
I
that?
just want to.
Okay, sure.
With Jerry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree. I think the suggestion that Joe has come up with in terms of window treatments on the south elevation, anything that will add a little character to that elevation particularly, because you got houses right across the street. He shows an illustration of a window with a lintel and a more framework that's got a lot more character to it. I would certainly like to see that on that elevation. And I have a question relative to the lighting. Rather than the wall packs, the standard wall packs that you have there, I guess it's been suggested that to add to the aesthetic value of the building to, well, actually on the printout here, he's got a link where you can go to and maybe get something with a little bit more character.
Well, the wall packs are not really an architectural feature. They're more for safety.
I know, but it could be if you have the right fixture. Could you look at that? Would you be willing to
I
look at
can't promise you, I promise you we'll look at it. I don't know what the answer's gonna be.
Yeah, well, that's fine, that's fair. Anything that will improve the appearance of the building. And I think that has the potential to do that.
Sure.
Thank you. Oh, I haven't.
Do you want to address the landscaping now? Then I'll open it up further to the public, then I'll come back to the board members.
So before we just get to landscaping, with regards to the drainage, last time we were here, which was 2 weeks ago, we received a letter from the city engineer that Monday. And we responded, and we received what I would say a clean letter back from her about a week ago. So, we feel that we've addressed, all the stormwater and drainage concerns that the city engineer has. And then two other things to note, one being the landscaping. We also added a bike rack that was discussed at our last hearing. We added one where we thought would be a good spot for it. So, pretty adjacent to the front door, but also, close enough to the entrance that it's easy on and off access. And, we feel that this sidewalk was wide enough so that it could support someone just riding up on that sidewalk. And then there's a concrete alcove, so to speak, to basically fit that bike rack. And it's in that bike rack, there's a detail of it. It's the I guess I don't know what the formal name of it, but it's the wavy bike rack. So fits 3 or 4 bikes. With regards to landscaping, per our last hearing, we worked with Joe directly over the past few weeks, and what we came up with, which is highlighted here in yellow, on the westerly edge here, and on the northerly edge, extending all the way back, we added some ground cover, some grasses, and some shrubbery per the DPD's approved list of shrubs and grass. And in speaking with Joe today, just before this, he'd like us to carry that theme down the easterly side up to our subsurface infiltration area. And also in doing that, we just had one type of shrub here, the crimson pygmy. He would like to, or DPD would like to, for us to add a little bit more variety. So we're going to take some of those away and add a variety of shrubs, so that we more or less maintain the number of shrubs, just a different variety, and then we'll also carry it down there.
Excuse me.
So that was the the site plan changes of note from our last hearing.
Mr. Chairman, just real
Sure.
quick. Was that, again, to kind of soften the railing?
Yes,
That's
yeah,
going to be the effect?
yeah. And I should add that I directly asked DPD about their comments on the vine, on the crawling vine, and it was, I don't want to speak for Joe and his staff, but they advised against it. It'd be a maintenance issue. I guess in some cases it promotes invasive species, so they advised against it. So the shrubs would be pretty much at that same height as that guide rail. So as you would see that guide rail, which, I think is a nice guide rail. It's a wooden guide rail, not a metal guide rail, just for the record. You would see that wood mixed in with the shrubbery as well.
Anything further? If not, okay. Anybody here this evening want to speak in regards to this project? Anybody want to be heard and speak in regards to the project? Speak in regards to the project? Hearing none at this portion, I'll turn it over to any questions the board members may have. Joe, I'll start with you. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, go
All
ahead.
right, I'll go with you, Joe, I'll come back to Rich after.
Go down there.
Okay. These shrubs that are going along the guardrail, are they on the Chelmsford Street side of the guardrail, or on the building side, or on both?
They are on on this side, it's on the opposite side of the guardrail,
The
behind it.
outside, okay.
On the what side?
On the outside.
Yeah, on the north side, yep.
Uh-huh.
And then on the west side, they're on the west side of the guardrail.
Okay. And are you proposing any there on the far, yeah, there?
Yeah, well, not currently, but we just discussed before this hearing that we're going to extend this down.
And that's really the one I'm asking, are those on the Chelmsford Street side or on the parking lot side of the guardrail?
This, where we're going to extend it?
Yes.
It would be on the east side of the guardrail.
Okay, okay. Okay, and did I hear you say earlier you lost a tree?
Yeah, we actually, we removed 3 trees, actually. One, but we kept the street trees. We lost the trees for numerous reasons, to add in the shrubbery. As you have heard tonight, we're trying to be financially aware and cost conscious. And also, there is a tree right where the bike rack is now proposed.
Okay, okay. All of those trees along the street, are they larger shade-type trees, or any of them smaller ornamentals?
Yeah, they're the honey locust trees. They're
the
going to
honey locust,
grow to be substantially like a wide capture with their canopy.
Okay. All right, then. Assuming all the details are worked out with DPD, I'm pleased with the landscaping plan.
Bob, any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I agree with Joe that if the DP is behind this landscape plan, then I'm fine with that. I would have liked to see a couple more trees, but I understand the economics of the project. One question.
Sure.
Are the shrubs that are behind the guardrail, are they flowering?
Joe, are the crimson pygmies a flowering shrub?
I'm not sure off the top of my head, admittedly, but if the applicant's
I
open to it, when we incorporate more variety, we can incorporate some flowering
Yeah.
shrubs in there.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, and we'll be sure to coordinate with Joe prior to the next hearing, so hopefully we get a clean letter from DPD with respect to the site-related
You
issues.
also want to have some very hardy shrubs because of the
Yeah.
snow plowing and
Yeah, good idea to put
Um,
on the other side.
All right, all right.
I'm trying to think of the name of the one, the burning bush. That thing changes colors on season, so it's very flaming red at a point in time, and then it goes into a dark purple.
Okay,
It may be something to consider,
okay.
and it's very strong.
Okay, yeah, I believe that was on the list, Joe, so we can consider that for sure.
Okay.
I'll go back to Rich. You got a
Yeah, I
question?
just had a question about the street trees. I think you've covered it, but could you point them out
Yep, There's-
in terms of quantity and see what we have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, just, yeah. That's all I have.
Jerry, anything further?
No, Mr. Chairman, just a comment, again, I just, obviously, we're not at a final product yet, but compared to where we started out, I congratulate you for coming in the direction we're looking to go on this, and I just encourage you to take a look at the window treatment that we talked about. And I think, again, I concur, I think we've got a landscape plan that takes into account the concerns that various members of the board have expressed from day one, so I applaud you for that. And obviously, the challenge next is the traffic, which we'll obviously have to address.
Okay.
Right.
I hope I didn't leave the wrong impression. When I said I was satisfied with the landscape plan, I was distinguishing between the landscape plan and the facade plan.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with the landscape plan.
Yeah, and that's what we need to.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're requesting that we continue the matter to the next meeting? I'm looking at, the next meeting is April 6th. Does that give you enough time? Okay. Joe, do you need the applicant to sign something to give us the time period? I know Attorney Flood did a couple of meetings ago, but do we? he said
Sure,
he
we
sign?
can provide something for them to sign.
Sure.
If we do, send it to Flood, and he's authorized to sign as our counsel.
So do you want to follow up with that, Joe? Just have them send
Sure.
a time period, that way everybody's covered on it, that way we don't have to act on it tonight, and, okay? So, okay, so we'll send out a letter to Attorney Flood, requesting that the applicant had agreed to extend the time period on the site plan approval, and that there is a request to continue the matter till our next meeting, which is scheduled for, I believe it's April 6th, I'm looking at my
It is
calendar.
April 6th.
Yeah. That's the first Monday in April, so.
Right.
Do we have a motion to that effect to continue to?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we continue the hearing until April 6th.
Second.
Motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye?
Chair votes yes. Matters continued to April 6th. Good luck.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Yeah. We'll end up with a better project.
Yeah, an asset. Yeah, yeah, it's a good asset. They shouldn't try to run against the facade. No, because it's pretty,
Okay, moving along with the agenda. Do we have any further follow-ups from DPD staff, Joe?
Just want to make the board aware of a couple upcoming projects that should be on the next meeting. One will just be an informational. It's for development over on Berry Road. It's for 4 single families and a proposed settlement house that would be located there. It's the location of a previously an alternative school. And then another project would be right near the same neighborhood, corner of West Meadow and Mammoth Road. There's currently a 2-family at one of the corners there. An applicant's looking to demolish that 2-family and construct an approximately 6,000 square foot commercial building with a restaurant and a variety store located in that building. So those will both be in front of the board at the next meeting.
One other thing I just want to, by giving us the handout tonight, I see we do have a new transportation engineer.
That's correct, yes, he was.
Okay, you want to fill us in on that? I mean, we see it's Nicholas
Nick
Bossanetto.
Bossanetto, yep. He was from the Regional Planning Agency in New Hampshire, and he had previously worked before that, I believe, in Pittsburgh. So he's familiar with urban environments, so it seemed like a good fit for us. He started just last week and was able to look at this project.
We'll tell him we welcome him aboard and we welcome his comments, and I'm sure he'll be sitting down and speaking with the applicant on some of the comments. So, but thank you, tell him thank you and welcome, okay? Okay, moving along, do any of the board members have any follow-ups or any communications or anything?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just
Sure.
from NEMCOG, they've scheduled 3 public meetings for their 2015 Regional Transportation Plan, and I just have handouts for anybody that wants to attend. It's open to the public. Joe, I know you may want to attend, but it's, again, it's for the public. Anyone, says, anyone with thoughts, concerns, or ideas about traffic and congestion, bicycling, pedestrian safety, public transit, and other transportation issues, So again, there is a meeting at City Hall here on April 8th, 4:30 to 7:30. That's a Wednesday in the mayor's reception room. Plus, they do have one scheduled for the Chelmsford Senior Center on March 30th, 12:30 to 2 p.m. in Tingsboro Town Hall on March 26th, 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. So again, anybody that's interested.
Yeah, good.
Thank you, Jerry. Anybody else have any follow-ups or any communications?
I have one thing relative to the Historic Board. Working with the Department of Planning and Development, we've launched our sign grant program for downtown businesses, really, in the Historic District. And we have our first applicant, a business on Merrimack Street. It's just financial grants to help businesses with the cost of new signage, as well as getting some expertise from our administrator as to the design and to accomplish two things. One, to generate some bit more business and to comply with historic board standards in the downtown district. And we hope that'll help the business community and think that it will in the long run. That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's made and
Second.
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. We are adjourned. Good night, and thank you, everyone.